How is this not more publicized?
Right? Oh my gosh.
Zero juice. You could bet up to $3,000. They want to introduce their sports book to people.
Yeah.
$3,000, even though it's the day of the game, which is kind of, I don't want to say an efficient market for this college basketball first round, but later rounds it is. But hey, no juice.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as being in studio each and every Thursday as part of Unscripted with Crackman Bill Krackomberger. But sometimes he can't be in Las Vegas, but he's still kind enough to join us courtesy of the Progressive guest line from South Florida. It's Bill Krackomberger, Unscripted with the Crackman. No intro.
Hey.
No intro when he's remote.
That's all right.
By the way. That's all right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Maybe I didn't give
Bill,
Savannah enough heads up.
Bill, you look great. You're well lit. Where are you, in your hotel room?
I'm in the hotel room, and I just drew the shades and just get the sun, the Florida sun out here.
Where are you specifically?
I am in Hard Rock in Hollywood.
And why are you
getting
there?
ready. I'm jumping on a plane, though. I'm coming back today. I was here because I had some futures to cash, which I found out, even though I bet them in Tampa, I can actually cash them here in Hollywood. But I was planning to cash them. I had some pretty big tickets from last April. And, I wasn't thinking it's a year from the day of the event, when the event finishes. So I had some season wins over under some futures. So they didn't expire in April. They expire, 6 months from January or a year from January. But I wanted to get them out of the way. I wasn't planning to bet anything, but opportunity presents itself. And let me tell you, I know some people say they get limited here, and I get it. But at the counter, maybe because they're futures, they took some very large bets from me. Put it this way. I expected to be going home with cash. I actually had to give them cash in the end. That's how many futures I bet.
Do you care to share some of those futures with us?
Sure. This is sick, Gil. The first bet I made was like $5,000 on each, and they didn't move them. So I went to the counter to bet $3,000 more on each. They still have not moved them. So Minnesota. Let me see. Minnesota to not make the playoffs. I should look at the tickets really fast.
We're talking, just to clarify, we're talking about baseball here?
Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Twins, no playoffs, minus $1.20. And the Red Sox to reach the playoffs, yes. So yes on the Red Sox to reach the playoffs, minus $1.15. I would have laid a little bit more, by the way. So yes on the Red Sox to reach the playoffs. The Twins, no playoffs, minus $1.20. And, I also bet Florida State in college football under 7.5 wins. And I seen that a couple other places, though. So I just wanted to grab it since I was here, under 7.5. And I'm actually going to probably bet some more on that. Even minus $1.20 is fine. So they're the three I bet.
Wow, personal attack at Kelly Bidlin, Florida State alum.
Oh.
Personal attack.
It's tough times in Tallahassee. I understand it.
Crack, for Bill, for the new audience at Sirius, newish audience at Sirius XM 158 that might not be familiar with your handicapping process, can you explain how this works for you? Because you surround yourself with folks.
Yeah, well, that was, I hope he doesn't mind. That's one of my sharpest guys that I deal with that gave me those three. And, so I used to do all my own handicapping for years. We won, my partner and I, from back in Jersey. However, now I just find some of the sharpest gambling syndicate groups in the world that maybe need to get down some money. Maybe they can't get down $8,000 a play here at Hard Rock. And to be real blunt, I put up the money for a lot of this stuff too. So it's nice to be able to have, someone that puts up most of the money. And this is it's going to be a year. Some of these tickets aren't going to, I shouldn't say that, at the end of next college football, December. So literally 10 months from now, it's nice to have someone to put up money for 10 months. So I'll do that. But certain situations I will actually, put up money. Put up mutual money for both of us or whatever it may be, or three of us, whoever. It depends on the sport. College basketball, there's three of us that are partners. So it depends on the sport, how many people are partners. So it may sound like big amounts of money. And the only reason why I mentioned the money today is because I was pretty happy with these amounts here at Hard Rock. And I've heard some, not really nightmares about these books, but I heard if you're sharp at the counter and you keep on betting stuff that moves, you have to do it tactfully. You have to do it so it doesn't look like you're just betting steam or major line moves, or they have kiosk here. I don't know really the result. I really don't know a lot of people that bet here, but I was told they have the kiosk here, and you're betting and betting and betting. And if you keep on trying to circumvent the limits, just go to the counter, see what they take. Listen, I was shocked that they took what they did for me. Like I said, I had some tickets to bet off of. I figured that was going to be enough for the 3 bets I was making. And so one of my guys knew I was down here. He said, "Hey, these are really good opportunities on these 3 plays." And there we go. So,
let me ask you about college basketball this time of year, because I know famously when we've talked before, I say, like, what sport at what time of year has traditionally been your most profitable? And if I remember, the most common answer that you always gave on that was early season college basketball, November, December, through the years. That has been the real strike zone. We're here in March. Obviously, conference tournaments, we got 4 days left of them, really 3.5, quite frankly. And then it's Selection Sunday before the big dance. What is your volume now? Has it completely tapered off? Is it, are you still in some volume and it's next week that it tapers off? Explain.
Yeah, good question here. And yes, college basketball was always bread and butter for years. However, NFL props have been really good. NBA props have been really good. Now, they're smaller markets, so you can't – I say smaller. They're smaller than getting down an NFL game or a college game or an NBA game. And this particular year, yes, we've had a winning season, and people have struggled. Some of the sharpest gambling syndicates in the world that typically beat college basketball have struggled to win. I'm really blessed that we're actually up for the year, because it's getting tougher and tougher each year. Before I came here, I was in Foxwoods for a day with Alan Boston, and I went and had a meal with him. And even Alan was saying, how tough every year is. However, he had a good season the beginning of the season, and his last couple of weeks have been a little rough, but he's still having a winning season. And the March Madness, yes, I like betting that first round, even the second round, but it tapers off as it gets deeper and deeper into the big dance. I'll bet less and less. I bet a lot of first halves. I've talked about that. As a matter of fact, so we're not going to be on the next Thursday when games are going on. I'll tell you right now, when that Sunday night, I'll be in Vegas with my computers and have my – oh, man, there's probably nothing better than getting to some of those lines at the beginning with my guys. It's a shame because it's only 1 or 2 sports books that put up the lines. And, it's 1 or 2 originating sports books, and everyone copies those lines. I actually wish I had access to some of the books back east, because it seems like to me the DraftKings, the FanDuels, and they put the lines up first. And in Vegas, I noticed Westgate was putting the lines up first for the NFL playoffs and stuff. So I'm hoping maybe South Point was putting up lines first for a while there for years back and letting people get at them for reduced juice. And also, Gil, now that I speak about that, the old Hard Rock, which is Virgin, day of the game, I'm sure you talked about this earlier in the week, Virgin has 0 juice. You can bet up to $3,000. They want to introduce their sports book to people.
Yeah.
$3,000, no juice, even though it's the day of the game, which is kind of, I don't want to say an efficient market for this college basketball first round, but later rounds it is. But hey, no juice. How many opportunities will there be for guys that middle and hedge and have those marketplaces, whether it's 2-3% juice? I expect to see some other people over at Virgin, I'm sure, day of the game, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 0 juice. I hate to even give them any press. Whoever runs their socials is so stupid.
I was just going to bring this up.
I didn't know about this.
I was just going to bring this up. We haven't brought it up earlier in the week, but I saw I saw it twice now that they have no juice at Virgin, and I think you were about to say this. How is this not more publicized?
Right. Oh my gosh!
I retweeted it, and it got maybe 9,000 views. I retweeted it for people to know. You think Virgin's social media would say, "Hey, Bill Krackomberger's retweeting this"? Not that I'm anybody, but I'm retweeting something. You got almost 10,000 views. You think you'd retweet it or say thank you or something? No, nothing. Crickets. So a lot of times these people, they work for companies, they steal paychecks. That's what they do. They're stealing a paycheck. They're told to put something up. They have no pulse of what's going on in the industry or on the casino floor. but yet they're in charge of the social media for a casino corporation. Don't ask me how it works, but listen, I have a buddy there that actually is a big executive. He's the one that texts me, "Hey, Krack, we're having no juice on our March Madness." I said, you won't believe how big of information this is. And yet it's not really being talked about. To be able to bet up to $3,000 on a game, no juice. Oh my God, that's unbelievable. Even day of game.
I may have to walk back into my old stomping grounds.
I have so many follow-up questions about this that Bill doesn't know probably.
We'll get to those follow-up questions that Bill may not have the answer for, but Kelly's going to ask him anyway. On the other side, Crackman Bill Krackomberger right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Bill Krackomberger joins us from the East Coast again. He's down in South Florida. You can follow him on Twitter at Bill Crackman with a K. The name of his podcast is Wisecracks with Bill Krackomberger. He won't be with us for the full hour when he's remote, but we will do one more segment. Did you have follow-up questions for him on we were just talking about no juice over there?
Yeah, I got the answers.
He's got all the deets.
He's all the deets.
Yeah.
All right, what's the deal?
All right, so here's what you need to know. NCAA tournament basketball games only. No juice, same day, pre-match or pre-flop, like Bill says. Point spreads. Your max bet up to $3,000, all no juice. You need a rewards card. So you need what's called a cherry rewards card. It's free. It's just their player card. So it's from 8 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. And this is only it's showing right now, March 20th, 21st. If this goes over well, though, they'll probably extend that. Listen, like I said, it's funny. During the break, we were talking about some of the places in town that have reduced juice throughout the season in town. And even I think South Point may have 105, which
South
is
Point does
fantastic.
105 traditionally, yeah.
105. Oh, man, how cool. I'll just tell you, if they do it right, they're looking to acquire information from people, maybe get their email, maybe get their player card, send them a little offer in the mail. If it's done right, that this casino here, Virgin, I also said to Gil during the break, this casino has alienated a lot of their players like me. I used to always go in with Hard Rock. I met Gil in this casino originally. This was the place to be. I do not go anymore. They have terrible video poker. The way it was run, I think Mohegan was running it. It's funny, Mohegan in Connecticut has some decent video poker, but for some reason they had none there. That was good. They still have some good shows at the joint. But for me, and I'm going to even speak for Gil, this is like Bill Buckner walking into Shea. So we don't go in there.
Too many ghosts
that often.
Too many ghosts
there. I hope it's done right. I really do.
So clarify this for me. So Betfred did have the sportsbook there. I don't know if they ever got licensed, but it's not Betfred anymore. Who's running this now?
Wow, this is a great question. It says Cherry Rewards. I'm thinking that the Virgin brand, and I don't want to misspeak here, I think the Virgin brand is running the sportsbook now. So this is going to be new to them. And, no juice, that's going to be – remember, I think – didn't Circa do that when they first opened on something like 3 bets per person? I know my buddy Randy was there. It was like I think they had no juice the first day. I think Circa lost about $150,000 at a 3,000 max bet. I'm sure someone on Twitter or maybe even Randy. If Randy's listening, they could text me. I think Circa did that just the first day, one day. That was enough for them, by the way.
Yeah,
and I don't blame them. I understand it. You have a lot of overhead staff and. It's just a promo to get people in. And we talked about it. I think we talked about it on our podcast. Randy's been a great addition to my podcast with John Orlando this year. We filmed it last night, and it's up now on my YouTube channel at Krack Wins. But, I'll tell you, Gil, I hope this goes over well because I hope it's just more than those 2 days. I hope it's more than that. And, what I was saying was we talked on a break, the reduced juice in town. It's going to be shocking. For our listeners, yes, because they're astute listeners. But most people really don't care.
Most people don't care. Yeah.
They'd rather sit home on their apps and I'm not driving down there.
Yep.
I only bet $200 a game. Meanwhile, they bet 11 games, and instead of laying an extra $200 in juice, they laid no juice. But I'd rather, just play with my 1 or 2 apps. And so people really don't care.
There's 2 things. Right. You're right. We've talked about this before. Like, it's when I'll give an example. When you give out some sort of insider stuff that people get mad at you, right? Like other sharp bettors are like, oh, Bill, you shouldn't say that on air. You shouldn't give that away. We always say this. It's amazing. You'd think that, right? You'd think the instinct ought to be not to give away X, Y, and Z on the air. But 95, 98%, pick your percentage of bettors will hear this, they'll nod, and they'll still go about their way, and they won't even sort of act on it. The other thing about going back to this promotion that they're doing, just from a macro Vegas standpoint, for those who have come to Vegas through the years, and obviously March Madness is the most popular week to come through the years generationally. It's just such a wonderful atmosphere here. And I do wonder, we with now it being a state-by-state thing, sports betting, Nevada is its own ecosystem. And so Nevada doesn't feel competitive pressure to innovate in the sports books, right? Oh, so what if the East Coast books are offering all these different things? Nobody here is, so why should we bother doing it? But if something like this were to catch on, right? If something like this were to catch on and it were to persist, at some point it would have to sort of spread, right? We're a long way from that happening, but this might be a start. Maybe. I don't know, in theory. So I just like that somebody's trying something. Let's put it that way.
Very good, Gil. We need the competition. Listen, even though we love the sports books there and we love it, I'm able to bet. Oh, my God, it's just so nice. Imagine it's just okay. It's nice to be able to bet because so many people, so many sports books and even individuals, they don't let me bet. So it's so nice to be able to bet. However, that being said, we still need the competition. Yes, we need the DraftKings, the FanDuel. We need these sports books in Nevada. We need competition so other books are forced to catch up a little bit. Right now, we always say it, you're all just our guests. I mean, now they run the town. They're not letting no one, you know what it is too. They're not letting another Cantor Gaming come to town and try to take over with their fancy suits and take over the whole place and wind up getting fined $35 million or whatever they got fined. And I'll tell you though, Gil, not only do we need the competition for us, we need the competition in general for all the regular players, the regular people, not just talking about us sharp guys, just the people the locals that are getting eaten up alive, maybe laying 11-10 on everything and just betting their crazy bet. We need it for them also. I try to speak out for Joe Public and try to help everyone here. Listen, Chris Felica is also on our text, you and I, and he said he likes the FSU bet under also. And that's another thing you just said, Gil. You just said that you got to be careful saying things. Now, even me, I just gave out 3 plays. I probably don't know if I should have said them, but you know something, Gil? People don't want to tie their money up for 10 months.
No.
They need their money now. No one's tying up any significant amount of money for 10 months or 6 months. But it's nice to have a baseball future to root on all season long. So I'll be rooting on the Red Sox, to make the playoffs. Like I said, I'll be rooting on them all season long. Every game, every day, pick up a paper. Well, there's no more picking up papers.
Every day you have action, basically.
Every day you have a little bit of action. Rooting for one, not rooting for the under.
Well, no, but
it's really fun.
It's a great point what you said, because obviously baseball, you got to wait 6 months. The regular season is 6 months. So it's what's the macroeconomics 101. There's an opportunity cost for every dollar that that is tied up. You can't use that dollar to make money in the meantime. And then there's the other sort of like gambler sort of psychology thing where for your accounts, do you ever get annoyed that when you go to your pendings or your, the things that are still open, that those just sit there for 6 months, and at some point people get annoyed, like, oh, clear this out finally, with it. So there's all kinds of little, it's the economic one, it's the annoyance of something like that. But baseball season longs, right? Baseball season wins are still one of the most tried and true markets because it's a really, truly good handicap where if your handicap is good, you can overcome negative variance and still win. You can't say that about a lot of other bets. So that's why I still swear by it. Bill,
Randy just said up to 10,000 they took at Circa opening day, up to $10,000 juice free. Wow.
Back in the day. I remember that day.
Yeah. How cool.
Yeah. Bill, thank you. Enjoy your trip. Safe travels back.
I'll be back. Thanks, guys.
Bill Krackomberger. At Bill Krackomberger with a K.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.